the Dinar Daily, and we're bringing you a groundbreaking update. A new timeline for the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar has just been revealed by the highly regarded analyst Frank26, and it suggests the long-awaited exchange may be closer than ever before. This isn't just another fleeting rumor. It's a significant signal indicating that the journey many have been on for years could finally be nearing its destination. In this report, we're going to delve into Frank26's latest insights, the hushed conversations among insiders, the political developments in Iraq, and the strategic moves within the banking sector. All of these factors converge to one powerful conclusion: the revaluation window appears to be opening wider than it ever has. This is the kind of information that demands your full attention, as it could potentially impact the financial future for you and your family. For a remarkable number of years, investors who have placed their faith in the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar have shown a level of patience that is truly extraordinary in the world of financial speculation. Unlike investments that promise quick returns, this particular opportunity has required a unique kind of endurance that goes far beyond typical financial waiting. These individuals have had to navigate through numerous false starts, unsubstantiated rumors, and countless delays that have tested their confidence and resolve. Many have been following these developments for a decade or more, holding on to the belief that one day the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, in coordination with global financial institutions, would initiate the much-anticipated change in the currency's value. This prolonged timeline has fostered a dedicated community of believers who constantly share information, monitor news releases, and analyze every credible signal that might hint at a genuine shift. The very act of this sustained perseverance has become an integral part of their story. The narrative has evolved beyond simply the potential for financial gain. It has become a testament to the resilience and unity of people who are committed to a vision that many outsiders have questioned. The current moment feels particularly different because the various factors at play appear to be aligning in a way they haven't before. The sense of anticipation is no longer based on vague promises but on concrete pieces of intelligence that point to genuine readiness on multiple fronts. This is why a heightened sense of hope is palpable within the community today, in contrast to previous cycles of speculation. In the past, the path toward revaluation was often met with resistance, setbacks, and even coordinated efforts that seemed specifically designed to stall any momentum. Each time a breakthrough seemed imminent, new obstacles would emerge, either pushing back the timeline or creating waves of doubt among those holding the currency. The resistance has frequently manifested as political instability within Iraq, hesitations from international bodies regarding financial transparency, or technical unpreparedness within global banking systems to handle large-scale currency adjustments. There have also been instances of false narratives being promoted to manipulate expectations or discredit credible signals, which has left many investors feeling disillusioned. However, what sets the current period apart is not just another hopeful rumor, but a clear convergence of credible indicators. While history is filled with delays, recognizing that these setbacks were part of the process helps explain the lengthy waiting period. The journey toward major financial reform, especially for a nation rebuilding after years of conflict, was never going to be a simple, straightforward one. Yet, each obstacle that has been overcome has brought the entire system closer to maturity. The very barriers that once seemed insurmountable can now be seen as the stepping stones that prepared the groundwork for this moment. The present situation is significant because the pattern of resistance seems to be giving way to measurable signals of cooperation, strategic silence, and a newfound readiness across various financial institutions. Investors who have endured all the previous disappointments can now look at this context and see a meaningful shift that warrants renewed attention. What lends extraordinary weight to the current situation is the credibility of the individuals sharing these insights and the alignment of signals coming from diverse parts of the financial world. Among the most widely followed voices, Frank26 has consistently provided updates with a degree of authority that resonates deeply within the community. His reputation has been built not on making exaggerated claims but on carefully interpreting developments that align with the behavior of the global banking system and the strategic actions of the Central Bank of Iraq. It's crucial to understand that the silence from the Central Bank of Iraq should not be misinterpreted as inactivity. In financial strategies of this magnitude, a lack of public communication often signifies deliberate planning and control. The less an institution reveals, the more likely it is that strategic, behind-the-scenes work is in progress. This strategic silence, when combined with signals from the banking sector, particularly the quiet chatter about new rates appearing on screens in both the United States and Iraq, strengthens the credibility of the narrative. It's no longer about isolated rumors, but about parallel streams of information pointing toward the same possibility. The intelligence being shared now feels less like speculation and more like a synchronized movement involving global financial mechanisms. This is what truly differentiates today from years past. The combined credibility, secrecy, and readiness suggests that the process has advanced further than ever before. The motivational aspect of this moment cannot be overstated. Every significant breakthrough in history, whether in science, technology, or finance, has been preceded by the most challenging and discouraging periods of waiting. Just before dawn, the night often feels the longest. This is the stage where persistence separates those who give up from those who hold steady until the reward materializes. For those who have been following the dinar story, the waiting has been mentally and emotionally exhausting. However, the current message is clear. What lies ahead is not an endless continuation of delays, but the culmination of everything that has been endured. We're on the verge of a historic moment, one that has the potential to alter personal financial destinies and contribute to a broader economic narrative. The power of this moment lies not just in the potential financial gain, but in the recognition that faith and patience are finally converging with opportunity and readiness. Giving up now would be like walking away at the very finish line. Frank26's most recent statement immediately captured the attention of the community. He offered phrasing that suggested the timeline for revaluation is not a distant, multi-year prospect but something far more immediate. These words carry immense weight because they stand in stark contrast to the years of uncertainty investors have grown accustomed to hearing. The term imminent implies not a vague hope, but a near-term course of action. The significance of this language is magnified by the fact that Frank26 has always been meticulous with his words, preferring to understate rather than overstate. When he frames the current moment as a short-term development instead of another multi-year delay, it sends a powerful message to those paying attention that they should be preparing themselves, both mentally and financially. His comments are not mere speculation. They are rooted in observable shifts within Iraq's financial landscape and subtle, yet powerful signals emerging from global banking systems. For those who have followed his updates for years, this new framing of the timeline feels like the most direct and encouraging sign yet that a revaluation is not only possible but very close. A key element supporting Frank26's optimistic outlook is the concept of market readiness. For any major currency revaluation to take place, there must be an environment capable of supporting the transition without destabilizing the local or international financial system. According to the latest signals, global markets are not only aware but are reportedly prepared for a potential dinar adjustment. Indicators related to trade patterns, foreign investment interest, and banking structures all point to a level of readiness that has not been present in previous years. Furthermore, the Central Bank of Iraq's preparations appear to be more advanced than ever before. For months, their silence has been strategic, but subtle actions such as adjustments in banking protocols, shifts in money supply strategies, and technical updates to banking infrastructure all hint at a readiness for action. These preparations align directly with the whispers and screen leaks from banking insiders in both Iraq and the United States, which have shown rates fluctuating in a manner that suggests an imminent change. While these screen leaks cannot be considered final proof on their own, their timing alongside these broader indicators gives them far more credibility than in years past. Taken together, these elements create a picture of readiness that is difficult to dismiss. Frank 26's belief that the exchange is closer than ever is not a result of wishful thinking but a conclusion drawn from connecting these signals into a coherent timeline. He consistently emphasizes that the evidence is not scattered or contradictory but is instead unified and pointing toward near-term action. The strategic silence from the CBI, the supportive global banking environment, and the increasing number of screen leaks all reinforce each other. The result is a conclusion that is hard to ignore. The waiting period that has defined this journey may be reaching its final stages. His confidence is not blind. It is informed by years of observing and interpreting these patterns. The motivational aspect of this conclusion is equally important. For years, the central question has been if this will happen. Today, the phrasing has shifted. It is no longer about if, but entirely about when, and with Frank26's emphasis on imminence, the when may be right around the corner. For those who have held on through every disappointment, this shift in tone is more than just encouragement. It is a direct call to prepare. Reports continue to surface about various test runs appearing on internal bank screens, sparking renewed interest and speculation across the financial community. These test runs are not isolated incidents but seem to follow a synchronized pattern across multiple institutions. Insiders describe the process as a series of quietly executed system checks, designed to ensure readiness once a formal trigger is given. What stands out is the remarkable consistency of these reports, suggesting they are more than just routine system maintenance. They reflect a deliberate effort to verify the operational readiness of the platforms that would be used to support a large-scale financial adjustment. Additionally, redemption centers, often discussed in hushed tones among those following currency revaluation, are reportedly in a phase of quiet preparation. Unlike public-facing branches, these centers are designed to handle high-value or sensitive transactions away from the public eye. Their preparations have included personnel training, logistical rehearsals, and technology verification. The subdued activity in these redemption centers suggests a careful balancing act, achieving readiness without drawing unnecessary public attention. For those who have been waiting, the silence from these centers has become a signal in itself, serving as evidence that the groundwork is being meticulously laid for a significant financial event. Meanwhile, confidential staff briefings are reportedly taking place at major financial institutions like Chase, Wells Fargo, and HSBC, all behind closed doors. Employees at higher clearance levels are being updated on potential protocols, although the flow of information is tightly controlled. These briefings are not publicized, but their occurrence has been noted by multiple independent sources, which lends credibility to the overall narrative. Banks do not typically invest such time and resources in speculative exercises without a concrete purpose. Such briefings are expensive and disruptive to normal operations, underscoring the importance of what may soon unfold. Across the financial landscape, signals from insiders at PNC and Bank of America appear to align closely with the timelines often mentioned by Frank26 and other commentators within the revaluation community. While skeptics might dismiss these signals as mere rumors, the consistency across separate major institutions is hard to ignore. When separate banks, each with unique structures and priorities, begin to reflect the same scheduling cues, the likelihood of mere coincidence diminishes significantly. Instead, what emerges is a picture of quiet alignment, a form of coordinated preparation that suggests multiple players are anticipating a shared event in the near term. This strengthens the overall credibility of the narrative. The lesson here is clear. Banks do not waste valuable resources on fantasies. Their systems, staff time, and logistical efforts are among their most valuable assets. If multiple financial institutions are making these types of behind-the-scenes adjustments, it is not for idle speculation. They are preparing because a reality is approaching that demands readiness on the political front. The Iraqi government continues to prioritize stability measures, including confirming its national budget, restructuring financial frameworks, and ensuring transparency in its oil sales. This focus on stability is not just for show. It is essential for building investor confidence and fostering long-term economic growth. With oil serving as the backbone of Iraq's economy, transparent reporting and allocation of these revenues are critical steps toward establishing credibility with international markets. These actions also set the stage for any major currency event, demonstrating that Iraq is serious about aligning its economic operations with global standards and sustainable financial practices. On the international stage, the oversight and cooperation from institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, and the U.S. Treasury further reinforce Iraq's positive trajectory. These organizations do not lend their support lightly. They require structural compliance, economic transparency, and measurable reforms before committing to significant partnerships. Iraq's willingness to engage with such bodies illustrates its commitment to systemic stability. For observers, this cooperation signals that Iraq is not moving in isolation but is actively integrating itself into the larger financial ecosystem. Such integration is essential for any revaluation to be accepted and sustained on the global stage. The market conditions of 2025 create a unique backdrop that separates this period from previous cycles of speculation. Globally, economies are navigating the aftermath of inflationary pressures, supply chain adjustments, and technological shifts in financial infrastructure. Interest in commodity-backed currencies and alternative reserve systems has grown, making a potential Iraqi currency adjustment particularly relevant. Unlike earlier times when revaluation narratives struggled against unfavorable economic climates, 2025 offers a convergence of factors: a demand for new stability anchors, digital financial integration, and heightened geopolitical cooperation that together enhance the plausibility of a significant monetary change. The inspiration here lies in recognizing the power of convergence. When political reforms, economic transparency, and favorable global market conditions align, history often takes a decisive turn. The potential revaluation is more than just a local story about Iraq's currency. It is emblematic of larger global shifts. Observers should view this moment not merely as a financial adjustment but as a signal of systemic transformation. Just as prior historical resets have redefined eras, the possibility of a revaluation today could represent a critical inflection point in the balance of global finance, serving as a catalyst for broader economic realignment. From the perspective of an economic analyst, Iraq's strong foreign reserves and steady oil revenue serve as powerful backstops for any currency-related changes. These reserves provide confidence that Iraq can support its currency at a higher value without triggering immediate fiscal instability. Oil revenues, meanwhile, create a consistent inflow of wealth, giving Iraq the leverage to sustain its position during transitional phases. Analysts argue that this resource-backed strength distinguishes Iraq from other nations that have attempted currency reevaluations without sufficient reserves. The combination of strong financial assets and consistent resource revenues makes Iraq uniquely equipped to undertake such a bold step. A banking insider provides additional clarity, emphasizing why tiered exchanges are currently being tested. Tiered systems allow financial institutions to manage exchanges differently based on account types, transaction volumes, or customer categories. Such systems are crucial when dealing with potentially large-scale revaluation events as they enable smoother processing without overwhelming branch infrastructure. The testing of these systems ensures not only technical functionality, but also regulatory compliance and fraud prevention. The insider notes that these systems are never deployed on a whim. Their presence reflects an expectation of significant transactional shifts. Thus, these behind-the-scenes adjustments point to tangible upcoming requirements. From the vantage point of a forex expert, the revaluation could unleash ripple effects across regional and international markets. A sudden adjustment in Iraq's currency value would not remain confined to its borders. It would influence trade flows, investment decisions, and regional monetary stability. Investors may see new opportunities in emerging markets, while neighboring economies would need to recalibrate their own strategies. Moreover, forex markets thrive on volatility, and a revaluation would undoubtedly generate new trading opportunities. Experts caution that while such ripple effects carry risks, They also provide openings for adaptive strategies that reward informed participants. Bringing these voices together, a powerful message emerges. Experts from multiple disciplines, economics, banking, and foreign exchange, concur that change is not just possible but likely inevitable. Each perspective highlights a different piece of the puzzle, yet all point toward the same conclusion: the status quo is shifting. For observers and participants alike, this alignment of expert opinions should serve as encouragement. It reinforces the belief that preparation is not in vain but is a wise response to signals that continue to grow stronger with each passing development. Change is coming, and readiness will determine who benefits most. In times like these, calmness is your greatest asset. When markets buzz with rumors and speculation, it's easy to get swept up in fear or excitement that clouds judgment. The investors who ultimately succeed are the ones who remain grounded and measured, even when the chatter grows loud. Staying calm means taking a step back, focusing on the facts, and reminding yourself that major financial events move in stages, not in chaotic bursts. Panic buying, panic selling, or emotional decisions are mistakes that cannot be undone. So, the first step is to control your emotions and stay centered. Calmness allows for clarity, and clarity opens the door to wise action. Documentation is another cornerstone of readiness. If and when an official process begins, banks and exchange centers will require proper identification and verification of assets. This means keeping government-issued IDs updated, safely storing proof of residency, and ensuring that your currency notes are organized, counted, and properly stored. A simple folder or binder with labeled envelopes can make the difference between a smooth process and the stressful one. Disorganized documents can lead to delays, and in financial transitions, delays can mean missed opportunities. Organizing your documents today ensures that tomorrow you can walk confidently into the process. At the same time, vigilance against scams is essential. Whenever major events are anticipated, opportunists will appear to exploit hope and impatience. False offers of early exchanges, misleading private deals, or supposed backdoor access to instant wealth are all traps designed to steal from the unsuspecting. Investors must remind themselves that legitimacy comes through recognized institutions, not whispered offers in backrooms. Scams prey on a sense of urgency, while wisdom requires patience. By keeping your guard up and refusing shortcuts, you protect both your investment and your peace of mind. Equally important is the discipline to follow official channels. Banks, government publications, and recognized financial institutions will provide the real announcements when the time comes. Anything else, no matter how convincing, belongs in the realm of rumor. In an age where social media magnifies misinformation, discernment is a crucial survival skill. Official channels speak with authority, clarity, and legal responsibility, qualities that speculation and rumor cannot provide. So, align yourself with trusted sources and let the noise fade into the background. Above all, patience is the bridge that carries you from expectation to reality. Waiting for public announcements is not a sign of weakness but of discipline. When the time is right, the world will know, and the process will unfold openly. Until then, those who rush ahead often stumble, while those who hold steady remain positioned for success. Frank26 has often described the revaluation process not as guesswork but as a precise sequence, a countdown with identifiable markers. The first step begins within the technical core of the financial world: banking software updates. These updates are invisible to the public eye, yet they are essential for ensuring compatibility across systems. Currency values, data transmission protocols, and security frameworks must all be aligned for a smooth transition. It may not be glamorous, but it is foundational. Just as a skyscraper requires a hidden foundation before it can rise, the revaluation process requires invisible technical groundwork before the visible event takes shape. Following the updates come test transactions. These are small, controlled entries within banking systems, often dismissed by the uninformed as meaningless numbers flickering across screens. Yet, insiders know that these trial runs are the stress tests of the system. By pushing through sample transactions, banks confirm that their infrastructure can handle both the volume and accuracy. Once the switch is thrown, This stage is not about speculation. It is about verification. Like engineers testing a bridge before traffic begins, banks must ensure the system is secure before the public crosses over. After test transactions, a curious stage appears, a period of silence. These silent periods are not signs of inaction but of deliberate control. Communication slows, external chatter fades, and insiders step back. It is during the silence that the system holds steady, ensuring no irregularities arise. To the outside observer, this quiet can feel unnerving. But to the trained eye, it is the final pause before momentum builds. Silence is preparation. It is the collective breath before the official announcement. Recognizing the silence for what it is allows investors to wait without anxiety, knowing the process is still unfolding as intended. The official confirmation will not come through rumor or private channels but through the Iraqi Gazette. This government publication has long been the authoritative voice of Iraq's legislative and financial decisions. When the Gazette speaks, it is law. For decades, observers have monitored its pages, waiting for the specific language that would indicate a shift in monetary policy. That official stamp of authority is the clarion call that speculation has ended and reality has begun. It is not merely symbolic. It is binding, enforceable, and globally recognized. Finally, the moment everyone waits for, the public exchange launch. This is where the preparation, the whispers, and the timelines converge into reality. It is where investors will step into redemption centers and banks, documents in hand to complete the process they have waited years for. Frank26's indicators do not point to randomness, but to a sequence of events with logical steps. This is not guesswork. It is a structured countdown. And when the final step arrives, it will be unmistakable. To those who have carried this vision for years, through cycles of doubt and waves of ridicule, your perseverance deserves recognition. Many of you face criticism from friends, skepticism from family, and dismissal from colleagues. Yet you held on to your belief not blindly, but with hope rooted in research and conviction. The sacrifice is not just financial. It is emotional, social, and personal. You have endured the weight of waiting, the loneliness of standing apart, and the challenge of holding faith when others mock. That resilience is a victory in itself. Regardless of what unfolds next, the message today is one of hope. The wait has not been in vain. Every delay has tested your patience, but it has also sharpened your character. In those long years, you have built endurance. And endurance is what separates those who collapse under pressure from those who rise when the moment arrives. The reward is not merely financial. It is the affirmation that your persistence mattered. When history looks back, it will see not a community of dreamers, but a community of believers who endured to the finish line. Unity is also critical at this stage. This journey has never been about individuals alone, but about a global community that has encouraged, supported, and sustained one another. In chat rooms, conference calls, and late-night conversations, bonds were forged across borders and cultures. That unity is a strength that should not be forgotten. Now, as the finish line comes into view, stand together with even greater solidarity. Celebrate not only your own perseverance, but also the collective spirit that carried you here. Together you stand not just at the finish line, but at the threshold of history. It is essential to remember that this journey is still speculative. No official confirmation has yet been released, and until it is, the revaluation remains a possibility, not a guarantee. Anchoring your expectations solely to speculation can lead to disappointment. This does not diminish hope but grounds it in realism. The wisest observers know that dreams must be tempered with facts. And the simple fact is that until official announcements are made, patience is still required. Hope, yes, but cautious hope, the kind that keeps your feet on the ground while your eyes look to the horizon. Practical wisdom also demands this warning: do not over-leverage yourself in anticipation. Risking your financial stability on what has not yet been confirmed places unnecessary strain on both your present and future. Protect your household first, secure your obligations, and do not gamble with money you cannot afford to lose. Too many have fallen into hardship by overextending themselves, believing that tomorrow's reward would cover today's risk. True wisdom is knowing that stability today is just as important as prosperity tomorrow. This channel exists to provide informational updates, not guarantees or promises. The responsibility lies with each individual to make informed decisions. We bring you analysis, signals, and insights. But at the end of the day, no source can predict exact dates or guarantee outcomes. Understanding this distinction is critical to maintaining balance. Information is a tool. How you use it determines whether it becomes a blessing or a burden. So take these words as guidance, not prophecy, and allow wisdom to shape your path. Even in caution, there is motivation. Hope is powerful, but wisdom is essential. One without the other creates imbalance. Hope alone may drift into fantasy, while wisdom alone may collapse into fear. But together, hope and wisdom form the compass that guides you safely forward. If you carry both in your heart, you will not be swayed by rumors nor crushed by delays. Instead, you will walk steadily, calmly, and prepared, ready for the day when speculation turns into reality. We stand at a historic threshold. The world has watched Iraq rise from the ashes of conflict, rebuilding step by step, year by year, into a nation seeking financial stability and international credibility. This is not the story of a single currency. It is the story of resilience, determination, and renewal for decades. People have waited for this moment, enduring the uncertainty of the unknown. And now, as signals align and preparations become more visible, the dream once dismissed as distant begins to feel like an approaching reality. The words of Frank26 today echo what many of us have sensed. The revaluation is no longer a fantasy whispered in forums. It is an event edging closer with every passing day. So we say to you, stay strong, stay ready, and stay informed. This is not the time to waver or doubt. This is the time to prepare with wisdom and patience, so that when the call comes, you can act with confidence. History will remember those who believed, those who prepared, and those who stood firm in courage when others faltered. The moment will arrive, and when it does, it will not be those who rushed blindly, but those who stayed steady who will step into victory. Be sure to subscribe to the Dinar Daily, the channel committed to bringing you the latest and most reliable updates every single day. Tap the bell icon to ensure you don't miss the moment the exchange becomes official. Stay hopeful, stay motivated, and stay ready because your breakthrough may be closer than you think. The final chapter is not just about potential wealth. It is about the story of perseverance rewarded. And soon, that story could be yours to tell.